So these days I'm engaged in a battle, an epic battle. My adversary, my foe, is probably about like 10 inches high and furry. It's a cat, not my cat. My cat is pretty decent, um, but it's one of the neighborhood cats. And I've seen it around. It's got a collar on it, so it's owned by somebody, but it roams around, and it hasn't been fixed or broken, I guess, depending on your viewpoint. It's got its scent glands intact, and it's chosen that it's going to mark its territory right on my front step. Now, uh, urine never smells good. I mean, that's never a pleasant smell. But as you may be familiar with, cats who have not been neutered or spayed, they have a particular scent that's in their urine that's used to mark territory, and it is strong. It's really, really powerful. So actually, standing outside my door these days is quite deadly, and it's horrible because that's how I welcome people into my home, right? So if you come to my house, you have to like pass through this horrid zone that makes your eyes water. It's just nasty. And because it's my doorway is under a carport, so there's not even like some wind going by, right? It's all very sheltered and stuff. And the cat is not just like marking on the wall or the door frame, like it's peeing everywhere. So it's actually on the steps. So what's happening is it's getting on our boots. So as we go in and out of the house, my front entryway inside there, it reeks of cat pee. Outside does. I can smell it when I'm driving. Yesterday I could smell it in my office. So even in here, right? So it's this insidious scent that just it goes everywhere and it infects everything. And with a scent like that, you can't just cover it up. Like there's no doing like an air freshener or something like that. It has to be completely killed. So things like bleach and vinegar and cleaners that contain those ingredients, they do a not bad job because those things they actually kill the bacteria that produces the ammonia, which is that horrid smell. But the thing is that you got to wipe the smell out absolutely completely. And our sense of smell as humans is I mean, it's adequate, but it's not great. It's not as good as a cat's. And you got to wipe out the smell so much that a cat can't even smell it, because if there's even just that little hint of it, the same cat will keep coming back and refreshing his markings there. But not only that, all the neighborhood cats as well too, they're attracted to it. And they come and they leave their own little deposit on top, right? Trying to show that it's their territory as well. So the point is that once you get this little bit of a problem, it very easily grows and mushrooms into being something that's really quite significant. And it may sound a little bit ridiculous to say it, but it's actually a kind of life changing, right? Because I'm aware of this smell that I can't go in and out of my door without like stepping in it, and I'm like wiping my boots on the snow and cleaning all our shoes and stuff like that. But the point is that we have to be really careful about what we let prowl around our doors. So what are those things that are, if we think about our home as that's our domain, that's our place of living, think about those things that are seeking to get in, those things that are marking territory on the outside. Certainly, when I deal with this cat, it really makes me think of just the whole concept of sin, right? Of sin being outside and seeking a way in. And in fact, it calls to mind, there's right in the beginning of Genesis, that story of Cain and Abel. Before Cain loses it and kills his brother, he makes a sacrifice to God, and God is not impressed, and Cain gets all sulky and angry, and he's not in a good mood. And God said to Cain, he said, listen, sin is crouching at your door. Its desire is for you, but you have to master it. And that's a really interesting phrase, that the sin desires Cain. And the word desire, it's not like a synonym for the word love or just simply want. It's a lustful, possessive, controlling desire. That's the kind of desire that sin has for us. And God said to Cain, you have to master that, right? You have to rule over that. You have to be in control of that. Now, we do have the authority, actually, to do such a thing. So, first of all, we're created in the image of God. We look back a couple of chapters before Cain, and we see that Adam was actually told that it's his job to look after all of creation, that he actually has authority over every living thing. And then through our baptism, of course, we are further infused with authority. We look back at Jesus' baptism, and he was given authority and an identity, right? So under the water, he comes out, and this voice from heaven says, "This is my son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." So he's given authority, and he uses that authority. He uses it over sin, over demons, over illness. We see him exercising his authority. People listen to him, and they're like, "Wow, this guy isn't just mimicking something that he's heard. This man speaks with authority." And then Jesus passed that authority on. So he gave that authority to Peter and to the entire church. And he said, "Listen, you've got the kings, or you've got the keys to the kingdom. Use them, right? What you let in, you let in. What you don't, you don't." And that same thing applies to us. So as we submit to baptism, we too receive that spirit. We too receive that authority. And we're to use that authority to guard our doors, to be careful about what's prowling around outside. Because we can't let even a little bit cross over the threshold and come into our lives. I mean, like with the cat urine, you get a little bit of it, and all it does is attract more, and it just, the stench is incredible. But the same is certainly true of sin. When we start to tolerate small behaviors that we think are not really that important, we'll just kind of let it go. And then over time, those things tend to accumulate. And we can see that if we just walk around the city, right? So we see pockets in which certain behaviors have started to become tolerated. It attracts further and further bad behaviors. And now there are areas of town that a lot of folks just simply won't go. They just don't want to be there because they've been just taken over by evil, by this lustful possessiveness, right? By sin. So don't even allow a little bit of evil to cross your threshold. Use your authority and guard your doorway. Don't let things prowl around outside. Psalm 97 says, "You cannot love God and tolerate evil." Not even a little bit of it.